How's it, grade 11s? Today we're going on to equations by taking square roots of both sides. So just to go through a little bit of a theorem. So if it's saying x squared is equal to a, now it's important that a must be greater or equal to 0. We cannot have something squared is equal to a negative number, okay? Then if we take the square root of that, we take the square root of that side, and we get x is equal to plus or minus the square root of a. Remember, whenever you take the square root of something, it's always plus or minus, okay? And it's just because of this. Now, I don't need you to worry too much about that. Just remember, if you take the square root of something, it is plus or minus. Also, what you need to take from this is whatever your x squared or m squared or whatever squared, it must be equal to a positive number, okay? So, for example, you cannot have something like this. X squared is equal to minus 4, okay? If you had something like that, you can say straight away, no solution. All right. So, some notes. If a is not a perfect square, the solution is irrational. So, for example, if we had something like x squared is equal to 3, okay? And now that a, they're talking about from here. Okay, so I just made the a not a perfect square. Now, I have to take the square root of both sides. So I get here x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 3. The solution is irrational. We know that because the square root of 3, you can see, is an irrational number. Okay? If a is less than 0, there are no real solutions. And that's basically what I said over here. Okay, if it's less than 0, then it's no solution. Right, let's have a look at this example over here. Now, what we have to do is we have to say that x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9. Okay, now we can actually take the square root of 9 because 9 is a perfect square. So we get here x is equal to plus or minus 3. That means that x is equal to 3 or x is equal to minus 3. Okay. Going on to the next example. Take the square root of both sides and we get x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 7. Now, 7 is not a perfect square, so we cannot take the square root of it. So we're just going to get here x is equal to the square root of 7 or x is equal to negative square root of 7. As easy as that, grade 11s. All right, example 3. Again, take the square root of both sides to get rid of the squared. So here we'll get x minus 3 is equal to, remember, plus or minus the square root of 16. We can take the square root of 16 because 16 is a perfect square. So we get x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 4. I'm going to break it down for the positive one and the negative one. So we get x minus 3 is equal to 4 for the positive, or x minus 3 is equal to minus 4. Still need to solve for x, so I take the minus 3 to the other side, it becomes a plus, and we get x is equal to 7. X is equal to, take the 3 to the other side, becomes a plus, so we get x is equal to minus 1. Okay, grade 11s, what I would like you to do is exercise 2.5 for me, please. Thank you.